Check.
Translation. When I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord, Mahā-Viṣṇu, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the bodily limbs of the great personality of Godhead. Please repeat. When I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord,
when I was born
from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord,
Mahā-Viṣṇu, the great person, I had no ingredients.
I had no ingredients
for sacrificial performances. Except the bodily limbs. Of the great personality of Godhead.
Of the great personality of Godhead.
Just a minute ago. Okay, I think I have unmuted you. Can you say Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna.
There you go. We're ready.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma, the creator of the cosmic manifestation, is known as Swayambhu, or one who is born without father and mother. The general process is that a living creature is born out of the sex combination of the male father and the female mother. But Brahma, the firstborn living being, is born out of the abdominal lotus flower of the Mahā-Viṣṇu, plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. The abdominal lotus flower is part of the Lord's bodily limbs. And Brahma is born out of the lotus flower. Therefore, Lord Brahma is also a part of the Lord's body. Brahma, after his appearance in the gigantic hollow of the universe, saw darkness and nothing else. He felt perplexity, and from his heart he was inspired by the Lord to undergo austerity, thereby acquiring the ingredients for sacrificial performances. But there was nothing besides the two of them, namely the personality of Mahā-Viṣṇu and Brahma himself, born of the bodily part of the Lord. For sacrificial performances, many ingredients were in need, especially animals. The animal sacrifice is never meant for killing the animal, but for achieving the successful result of the sacrifice. The animal is offered in the sacrificial fire is, so to speak, destroyed. But the next moment it is given a new life by dint of the Vedic hymns chanted by the expert priests. When such an expert priest is not available, the animal sacrifice in the fire of the sacrificial altar is forbidden. Thus Brahma created even the sacrificial ingredients out of the bodily limbs of the Gaudacandra, which means that the cosmic order was created by Brahma himself. Also, nothing is created out of nothing, but everything is created from the person of the Lord. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 10:8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Everything is made from my bodily limbs, and I am therefore the original source of all creations. So we're going to the second paragraph. The impersonalists argue that there is no use in worshiping the Lord when everything is nothing but the Lord himself. The personalist, however, worships the Lord out of a great sense of gratitude, utilizing the ingredients born out of the bodily limbs of the Lord. The fruits and flowers are available from the body of the earth, and yet Mother Earth is worshipped by the sensible devotee with ingredients born from the earth. Similarly, Mother Ganges is worshipped by the water of the Ganges, and yet the worshipper enjoys the result of such worship. Worship of the Lord is also performed by the ingredients born from the bodily limbs of the Lord. And yet, the worshipper, who is himself a part of the Lord, achieves the result of devotional service to the Lord. While the impersonalist wrongly concludes that he is the Lord himself, the personalist, out of a great gratitude, worships the Lord in devotional service, knowing perfectly well that nothing is different from the Lord. The devotee therefore endeavors to apply everything in the service of the Lord, because he knows that everything is the property of the Lord and that no one can claim anything as one's own. This perfect conception of oneness helps the worshipper in being engaged in his loving service. Whereas the impersonalist, being falsely puffed up, remains a non-devotee forever without being recognized by the Lord. Jai Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshus Onmaditamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitana Bhutale Swayam Upagadamayam Dadanti Swavadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Guru Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakopa Tubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So the verse again. Edasya nabhyan nalinad ahamasam mahatmanaha navidam yagna sambaran purushava yavanrite. When I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord, Mahā-Viṣṇu, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the bodily limbs of the great personality of Godhead. So here we have Lord Brahma instructing his son, Narada Muni, who was very intelligent, and he was saying, oh, I thought you were the supreme. But no, he's explaining to him that actually I'm not the supreme, I'm just a servant. And, where is all this coming from? Where do you get your power? Where do you get these ingredients? So here's explaining where everything comes from. So this is a very nice chapter. It's entitled The Purusha Sukta Confirmed. And today we'll talk a little bit about gratitude. But here, since this chapter is called the Purusha Sukta Confirmed, that reminds me of the Purusha Sukta prayers, which I'm sure many devotees know. And we perform them every day, in our certain pujas or, like that. So it's very important, the Purusha Sukta. So we'll cover the Purusha Sukta. We'll talk a little bit about, as we mentioned, gratitude and what that leads to. And then we'll talk a little bit about sacrifice and the ingredients. And then we'll end with how we end up in oneness. What is real oneness? So, going ahead here now, finish the purports. And then here's the picture of the universal form of Krishna. And just for some variety, we'll add So this, to give you an idea, the Purusha Sukta, it teaches us to have respect for the world, actually. It talks about dharma, it talks about law and order. And that's essentially the basic sustaining elements of society, law and order. So, here we see unity in apparent diversity because the world is nothing a projection, but it's nothing but a projection of the Purusha. So we see it in this way that every life form, every spot on earth, every mountain, every river, it becomes holy. So when we look at a mountain or the setting of the sun, we say, this is a participation of the divinity. This is Krishna. So everything in the world is Purusha Shukta. So it calls for like a joyful participation in the world. So with whatever abilities we have, we are very grateful. Just Krishna wants us to prosper just as his children, because we're his children. We prosper like that. So I hope you're able to hear me above that. But here we have the view. The devotee, he has a view of the world, and the materialist has a view of the world. So there's two different views. The one of how we see it today, and the one that's given to us through this Purusha Shukta, or through the Vedic literatures that we have. These Vedic literatures are very important, and this Purusha Shukta is given to us. We had some view of it in the previous chapter, in the 5th chapter described it, and in this particular chapter, it's actually entitled Purusha Shukta Confirmed. So from verses 1 to 29, it pretty much shows is the Purusha Shukta prayers. It's described in so many different scriptures, the Mahabharata, and we could go on and on and on. So it's very amazing. This Purusha Shukta, it gives us the essence of the philosophy of the Vedas. And it's given us the essence, just like the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavad Purana. It incorporates meditation, how to meditate in Krishna everywhere. It incorporates knowledge, jnana, and it even brings in devotion or bhakti. So these rituals and duties, which is the dharma and the karma, so this is what's described. So that's why it's very highly regarded and extensively used today, as it was done thousands of years ago. So here's something interesting to listen to. This kind of gives a view of someone in the 1800s about this nature. So let's listen to this. Yeah, Prabhu, before you hear that?
In 1854, a delegation from Washington, D.C. came to Chief Seattle and his people.
Can you hear it?
Yes. With a strange request. They wanted to buy their land. Chief Seattle responded in this way. Perhaps because I am a savage, I do not understand any other way. But this I know. All things are connected. How can you buy or sell the sky, the warmth of land, the freshness of air, the sparkle of water? The idea is strange. Every part of this earth is sacred. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every rocky crest, every mist in dark wood, sacred. O great white father in Washington, we will consider your offer to buy our land. If we accept, I will make one condition. The white man must treat the beasts that roam this earth as his brothers. For whatever happens to the beasts happens to man. The earth is our mother. The perfumed flowers in the meadows our sisters. The deer, the horse, the soaring eagle, our brothers. We are all part of the same family. The rivers are also our brothers, for they quench our thirst. We must give them all the same respect and kindness that we would give to any brother. Most men will not understand this. Most men treat this earth as their enemy, solely to be conquered. Man treats the mountains and valleys, the forests and meadows and rivers and brooks and lakes as things to be bought or sold or plundered. Will he leave any part of this earth undisturbed for his children? Man's appetite will devour this land, leaving only desert. The sight of your big cities pains my eyes. No quiet place exists there, only clatter to insult the ear. No place to hear the unfurling of leaves in spring, or the rustle of an insect's wing, or the secret murmurings of water, or the soft sound of wind darting over pond at break of day. What is there to life if we cannot hear the lonely cry of the whippoorwill or the arguments of the frogs at night? Take a deep breath. The air is precious. The beast, the tree, the man, we all share the same breath. I cannot believe that some men walk upon this earth not noticing the air they breathe. Man wants to own everything, but respects nothing. We cannot own the land, nor the sky, nor the waters. We cannot even own these bodies which grow old and shrivel up before our very eyes. Nor can we own God. His compassion is equal to all. The earth is precious to him, and to harm the earth is to heap contempt upon its creator. My friends, teach your children to respect the ground beneath their feet, for whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons of the earth. And the whites, they too shall pass, perhaps even sooner than the other tribes. But in your perishing you will shine brightly, fired by the strength of God. Everything happens according to his divine plan. For some reason, unknown to us, he has given you dominion over this land. But hear me, if you contaminate your bed, you will suffocate in your own waste. Where are the great buffalo herds? Where are the wild horses? Where are the soaring eagles? Where are the thickets and pure streams? Where is the fresh air? Where are the secret corners of the forest? Gone. Gone, gone, gone. The end of living, the beginning of survival. Perhaps because I am a savage, I do not understand any other way. But this I know, all things are connected.
So this gives us a viewpoint of Chief Seattle. They're very poetic. There's a big controversy whether he actually said that or not, but it was actually, I thought it was an important message, and kind of gives us the two viewpoints. of how we should see things and how, what happens when we don't see things in the proper perspective. So there's a nice quote from Radha-Swami. He says, every moment is an opportunity to practically express our gratitude, and that is how we make spiritual progress. Gratitude is a very interesting thing. Actually, they did some studies, and I guess psychologists have said that, you can't really teach a child to feel gratitude. They could be taught to say thank you, but it's not like they're really grateful, like feeling grateful. I mean, they feel hungry, but how do you feel gratitude? So this is important. So we have to have a good association. And when you have good association of someone who has gratitude, then we can pick up on that. So that's how it starts, through association. And we see Lord Brahma giving his association to his son, Narada Muni. Lord Brahma is the supreme authority, is the spiritual master of everyone. And he created everything. He is the most powerful being in the material world. So he's a Mahajan, and we follow what he says. So there has to be a moment-to-moment consciousness of the observer. So what is our consciousness like from moment to moment? We have to become aware of that. So that's very important. So here, there's a nice quote from Srila Prabhupada's purports, two of them kind of tying together as almost one sentence. So everyone should feel grateful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he is maintaining all living entities and supplying all their necessities. There is no sufficient means to repay the Personality of Godhead for his act of benediction. Therefore, we can simply feel gratitude and pray to the Lord with folded hands. So we have to feel gratitude. How do you feel gratitude? It actually comes from the heart. It's a really great appreciation and understanding of what is going on. This is so important. So we're going to talk a little bit about sacrifice. And Prabhupada mentions in a purport in this chapter, I think it's in a few verses coming up, he says the word sacrifice suggests dedication of one's own interests for satisfaction of a second person. Actually, there's a quote that says, those who are the happiest are those who do the most for others. So it makes sense that this is what we're doing. We're sacrificing our own interests for the interests of others. And who better person can we offer that sacrifice for than Krishna, than Vishnu? This is the whole point of the Purusha Sukta prayers, is appreciating that. So it's a personal thing. We're not so concerned about what we have in our life, that we perform these things to get things. But it's who we have in our life. It's not what, but it's who we have in our life that counts. So we want to be recognized by the Lord. This is the important point Prabhupada made in this purport, that we want to be recognized by the Lord. Who we have in our life that counts the most. And that's Krishna. So we could see Lord Brahma, he is the original living being in the material world, and he taught us the way of sacrifice. So what's happening today is that every man, he's just engaged in sacrificing his interests for others. They are already doing that. We are already doing that. Sacrifices are being performed for family, for society, for community, for the country, or the entire human society. But this perfection of sacrifice is only attained when we perform it for the sake of the Supreme Person. That's the Lord. And because He's the Lord of everything, He's a friend of all living entities, and He's the maintainer and the performer of sacrifices, as well as a supplier of the ingredients of the sacrifices. So this is from the Bhagavad Gita. So He's the only one that should be sacrificed. he should be satisfied by all sacrifices. So this is what the whole world is doing. We have to learn that energy is going to be sacrificed. We're sacrificing it for learning. We're sacrificing it for, society, to uplift the society, for economic development, for plans to improve the whole society. So, unless we perform that sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as we can see here in this picture, then there will not be any peace. There will not be any satisfaction in the world. So this is what we have to do. Bhagavad Gita states that Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Santim Richate. So this is we have to know the Supreme Lord is the actual enjoyer, is a maintainer of all sacrifices and of all austerities. And we should also know that he is the ultimate proprietor of everything, all the planets, and that he is our factual friend of everyone. So this knowledge converts our karma yoga into pure devotee, into pure devotion. So this is how it goes through the association of unalloyed devotees. So simply, that's how we get gratitude, is through the association of devotees. And this is that knowledge that comes. And when we have that, then we're able to become liberated from this material bondage. Because as we probably mentioned in this purport, that everything is provided by Krishna. Even the ingredients for the sacrifice comes from the bodily limbs of Gaudacandra. So Lord Brahma, he created the cosmic order himself. But Prabhupada makes that strong point in the purport that nothing comes out of nothing. And everything is created from a person. And that's the person of the Lord, Krishna. And then that's where Prabhupada quoted that Bhagavad Gita verse, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Mata Sarvam Pavartate, that everything is made from my bodily limbs. And I'm therefore the original source of all creations. So we can see it's not what we have in life, but it's who we have in life. We have Krishna. Krishna's everything. Everything comes from his body. It's a personal thing. Everything is personal. So this Prabhupada mentions the impersonalists in this verse. He says, while the impersonalist wrongly concludes that he is the Lord himself, the personalist, out of a great gratitude, worships the Lord in devotional service, knowing perfectly well that nothing is different from the Lord. So this is so important to understand that in all circumstances, either material ingredients or spiritual parts, they're all not, they're not independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything, whatever we see, external, internal, marginal potencies, they're just simply displays of the same effulgence of the Lord. Just like light, heat, and smoke, they're displays of fire. But none of them is separate from the fire. So all of them combined together is called a fire. So similarly, all phenomenal manifestations, even the effulgence of the body of Vasudeva, his impersonal features, he eternally exists in his transcendental form. And that's called Sat-Chit Ananda Vigraha. And that's distinct from all the conceptions of the material ingredients that we mentioned above. So therefore, as devotees, we endeavor to apply everything in the service of the Lord, because we know everything is a property of the Lord, and that no one can claim anything as our own. So this is a perfect conception of oneness, and it helps the worshipper in being engaged in his loving service. And Prabhupada says, again, that the person is being puffed up they remain, being falsely puffed up, remains a non-devotee forever without being recognized by the Lord. So here we see the mundane impersonalists. They're actually demons. They're like trying to interpret things in their own way for their own sense gratification, thinking that they are gods. But we have a different viewpoint. They are like, their heads stuck under the earth, like this picture shows, trying to understand things. How could they understand things? It's their view. Everything depends on how you look at things. You have to see it in relation to Krishna. And everything we're seeing, everything is Krishna's body. So this is the real oneness, the one view that we should have, is to see that Krishna is everything. So this is devotional service. And it's very simple. We should just always engage in the service of the Lord. We should eat the remnants of food offered to Krishna, offered to the deities. We smell the flowers offered to the lotus feet of Krishna. We see the places where the Lord had his transcendental pastimes, or we hear about them. Like we had Dino Bandhu here, gave such a nice class for the Sunday feast. He was talking about all the pastimes of Krishna and Braj. It's so enchanting, just sort of grabs your attention, so wonderful. So this is what the devotees, they completely get absorbed. They read, they hear the different activities of Krishna. And then he reciprocates with love to his devotees. And then the devotees also, they just completely always chanting the holy transcendental vibrations of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as Prabhupada wanted us to observe fasting days, we would always observe the appearances and disappearances of the Lord and his devotees. We were just celebrating the honoring Mother Gauri, talking about all her wonderful pastimes and her engagement in Krishna service, and how she ultimately, the success of her life is she left her body in Vrindavan with devotees, and all her service was glorious. So thinking about the devotees is also glorious. So this is by association, by associating with these devotees, we develop this gratitude. We develop this view, this one viewpoint. So by following this process, we will be completely detached from all the material activities. And we can situate ourselves, as Prabhupada says in a sentence, I'm not making this up, he says, that one who can thus situate himself in the Brahma Jyotir, or the different varieties of the Brahman conception, is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in quality. So didn't say you become God. It's not that you become the supreme controller, friend, and worship, perform, of austerities that are meant for you. No. Actually, as we said, Krishna is also his Brahmajyoti. Everything is one. Satchidananda Vigraha. It's all in one here. So this is the viewpoint of the devotee. He has this one view of everything. And we're so grateful to Lord Brahma, who is our spiritual teacher, and the disciplic succession that's coming down through Narada Muni, and it comes through us, through Srila Prabhupada. So we're very fortunate to have such a wonderful association of devotees, to really see what it means to be engaged in this one viewpoint, to have this oneness, and that's loving service, with this very felt attitude of gratitude. So thank you very much. Maybe we can open up for questions or comments. I hope everything came clear.
Yes, Prabhu. I guess the only was when you were playing the Purisha Shukta, we couldn't hear what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But otherwise it came real good, nice.
Yeah. Basically, I was just talking about how, Mahā-Viṣṇu and the Purisha Shukta, how it's, what it means, and what the whole process of the Purisha Shukta. It teaches us respect for the world. It teaches us Dharma. It talks about the basic sustaining elements of society and how to see unity in apparent diversity. It's very nice prayers. I'm sure Many of you read the translations. And that was a very nice chanting that I found. I thought it was very nice to listen to. So just so we see, it shows us how to see every life form, every spot, every mountain, every river becomes holy. When we look at a mountain, the setting of a sun or anything, we just say, Krishna. Remember my mom used to always say that. She used to say, wow. She used to call me, come here. She said, look out the window, look at the sunset, look at the sunset. She said, look how beautiful. Appreciation of nature, that it comes from God. It's so wonderful. And how we can convert this material world very mystically into spirituality. Prabhupada used a very nice analogy of how, just like a common person doesn't know how to convert milk into butter, but a person who has knowledge can do that. And it's very nice. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's like a mystical process. My wife, she's making ghee, and she makes ghee from yogurt, which is the way they do it in Raj. So what you do is you get the cream and make yogurt, and then you churn the yogurt. So you're churning the yogurt, it's making a noise. Nowadays we use this little, like a blender, a food processor. So you churn the noise, it's making one sound, it's like, then all of a sudden the sound actually changes. And then it's amazing, it's mystical, the color changes, and it turns from liquid to solid. And you get this very nice butter that tastes just like nectar. It's amazing. So this is what we're doing, we're converting this, ocean of liquid, of the material world, liquid's the ocean, we're converting it to like nectar butter. So this is the process of devotional service. But we can always do that depending on how we look at everything from moment to moment. It's so important. But that moment to moment consciousness of how we're seeing things can make a big difference in our attitude and our gratitude. So anyway, sorry you missed that, but I hope everything else came through.
Yeah, it was fine. That was a nice thing that you played, the Chief Seattle. I've never heard that before. I was just thinking about how that's considered primitive, but anybody who's in the mode of goodness can see that it's just speaking the truth. Yeah.
That was narrated by a devotee. I don't know if you know him. I think his name is called Sanktandas. Just in New Vrindavan. And he came up with this nice CD. It's called Sacred Voices. I got this at the Prabhupada Festival. There was a devotee had some, so I picked one up, and he has some nice things in there. He talks about, this prayer, and he also quotes Bhagavad Gita and St. Francis's prayer and Buddha's enlightenment, and different things like that from different cultures. So that's very nice. It's called Sacred Voices.
Very nice class, Gaudacandra. Thank you, Prabhuji. On the subject of gratitude, that's so important. Mm-hmm. I can still hear, maybe others in the Sangha have also heard the same thing, but I could actually hear my father's voice. He used to say to myself and my two sisters all the time, he says, you kids just think you have everything coming. In other words, I guess, particularly, being born in the age of Kali and in the Western world, we're so unappreciative. We grew up so unappreciative that everything our parents gave us, we just expected it. Where's my allowance? And give it to me now, and I want more allowance, and we want give me, with so little gratitude. And so you're bringing up this subject, and it's almost like a foreign concept to us. And yet it's so critical, as you're emphasizing in the class, that we really have to pray to Krishna from within to bless us with the feeling of gratitude. And as you said, probably the best is associating with devotees like Radhanath Maharaj, who feel such gratitude in every situation. It's really, really important. So, anyway, thank you for bringing that up. It's an essential quality which, well, I'll speak for myself, certainly do not have. But we should really pray and endeavor to have that, because it is just essential in progressing in spiritual life. Gratitude. Thank you so much for bringing that up and emphasizing it and making it sound so attractive, like it's something that we really want to have, but we're so lacking in.
That's true. You know, they say it's not happy people who are thankful. It's actually thankful people who are happy. So that's a joy, is gratefulness. Yeah, so that's so nice. Thank you, Narhari.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Great class. I love that. I love that narrative of Chief Seattle.
Yeah.
Talking about land. You know, we want to be saying that how can you sell the sky?
Yeah, like if we own it, like if we're the.
And it's the same ludicrous thing, selling land and selling. It's all God's. Very sweet. I got a lot out of the class. It's tremendous.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Any other comments, realizations? Yeah, so we have. Oh,
could you tell us a little bit about Dinabandhu's class?
Oh, geez, it just goes into the pastimes of Raj, and he chants his favorite bhajans, and then it gives pastimes about Krishna and Mother Yasoda, and how clever Mother Yasoda was, and how she'd bring him back home. Like we talk about the boogeyman. And she would say, "Oh, you don't wander off into the forest because there's I forget the terms he uses, but he uses all the Sanskrit terms and he goes into it." And she says, "Oh, the boogeyman will get you." And Krishna says, "No, I never saw any man like that." She describes him: big yellow eyes, sharp teeth, big claws, and he'll just eat you in one gulp. And Krishna gets frightened, No, okay, so he doesn't go back. And then Krishna again forgets, like kids, goes wandering off to the forest. And then, Mother Yasoda had to say it several times. Then again, Krishna says, "Oh, I never saw any boogeyman like that." She goes, "No." And then Mother Yasoda, her eyes get really big. And then she looks, and she says, "There he is! Run!" And then she starts running, and then Krishna starts running after her. And then all the coward boys start running after him, and then they're all running home. And then just at that time when they get home, it's time for lunch. So that's Mother Yasoda. He has so many stories, and he was selling a book called Raj Leela. It's a nice little book. So it's pretty cool classes. So we had nice devotees here. We had Jayapataka Maharaj here, and they had the Prabhupada Festival, and they had some of the special meetings at GBC. So some nice devotees giving classes. So it's very nice. Yeah, and the devotees of Prabhupada Festival is all about being grateful to Prabhupada. There's so much gratefulness, and how in the future we should just continue this gratefulness. After all the Prabhupada disciples are gone, then what is it going to be like? What are these stories going to be like? Are they going to be lost? Are they going to be misinterpreted? Or how do we keep the legacy of Prabhupada? I was talking with Yogeshwar, giving such nice classes. You could probably log in to lalive.us and pick up on some of the Prabhupada Festival lectures or talks. Very wonderful appreciations of Prabhupada. It's amazing. So yeah, we appreciate the devotees of Prabhupada. So it's nice. But yeah, that's just one little story he told. He told many stories like that. And along with his bhajans, it's so nectar. And then he distributed some Mahaprasadam from Braj, from Nandigram, I think it was. So we got purified from the nectar. That's what we do. The process of Krishna consciousness is take prasadam, hear about Krishna. That's what we do. This is our whole process. It's so simple. And that's that oneness of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says it's so simple. And it's so like that's nectar butter that my wife makes. It's so nectar that melts in your mouth. You speak of the ghee. So yeah, this is the process. So ghee is needed for sacrifice. All these ingredients come from Krishna, the body of Krishna. I think even the Purusha Sukta prayers say something about that. The ghee actually comes from Krishna's body, all this stuff from different parts of his body. You know. So this is Krishna. We're enjoying Krishna. You just have to recognize it and appreciate it. Acknowledge it. Have that moment-to-moment, awareness where our consciousness is at. Moment-to-moment consciousness of the observer. Jai. So people have been knocking on my door for the last half hour. There's, I think, maybe Jai Pataka Maharaj needs something, my services. So I want to thank you all very much for your kind attention and your patience, and really appreciate your association. I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Gauda. Wonderful.
Wonderful class. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Go Shri Prabhupada.
Hare
Krishna Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Hare Bo.